Another day, another voiceover. This is, well, if it wasn't for the tragic car incident, this would have been like a new record for voiceovers in a row. I don't remember the old record if there was one. Probably like only 3 days though, if I had to guess. Today, I was just going for, I had this idea of like a larger creature carrying a smaller creature. And so that's what I did. And the only little bit of lore that I came up with, if you could call it that, is that the little grub creature that is being carried is effectively controlling the larger creature and also like transforming its body to better protect it. And that's why there's like the little stomach arms, and instead of having hands, it's like stretched flesh fusing into itself. And same with on the head, where it's like flesh going over where the eyes would be, because the grub is in control. So it is being the eyes. And also the hands, the fingers are being fused together. That there's no reason for that. I just made it look like that. I don't think that provides any advantage for protection though. But maybe it does, who knows. And that's the lore. That's all I got. Real deep stuff, really. And once again, I'm doing my classic, doing blue sketch and then outline in a dark color, fill in with a mid-tony color, and then do some highlights, merge the line layer in the mid-tone color layer, and then do more rendering. It's the old classic, the old reliable. Except this time I do it twice. Well, I guess 1.5 times. The grub doesn't really have lines to merge. So, I guess that's different. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Even if I feel like it might be holding me back sometimes. Especially when I want to do things like, oh, I don't know, add clothes. I mean, it can work. It just takes I don't know about a lot longer, but it takes longer. For me, at least. And once again, I'm out of things to talk about. Like, I've basically explained the whole thing. Here's adding the highlights, so then it ends up being like 3 colors. My classic 3 colors of dark, mid-tone, light. And I end up adding a lighter light for like actual highlights that are much smaller than, you know, entire shoulders and stuff. Especially on the grub, who I was thinking of having a shinier carapace rather than some blue skin. So the grub had it was like 4 or 5 colors, I believe. And then also the same light blue that ends up getting used in the blue creature's skin. And why does it have a super long tail? Felt like it. That's the reason for that. There was no smart thought process going into that, even though I typically don't do any tails at all for anything. That's not true, but it's rare. It's like dragons get it, wyverns get it, and some lizards, and very rarely some other stuff. Like the horn hunter had a tail, but that is very rare. That is the exception, not the rule. And once again, big surprise, no reference was used. Maybe I should have used a reference. I mean, probably should have, but I didn't. I'm just a rebel like that. Not using a reference is like it's a rebel thing to do, right? For sure. Yeah, here I am still only using the 3 colors of dark mid-tone highlight. I thought I was using the super bright highlight already, but I don't think that comes in until probably after I start rendering the grub, if I remember correctly. I could be completely wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what happens. Here I just fixed the thumb on this hand that continually switches between right and left, so I will just say that hand. Just because it was way too far forward. It was not connected to where a normal thumb would be connected. Which would be fine if I didn't show the other thumb connected in the right spot. Because if the other one wasn't shown, I could have just said, oh, that's just how the thumbs are on this guy. It's just weird like that. Here's the fused arms instead of hands thing that I was talking about earlier. And I tried to make it only so it was like fused at the ends rather than being weird throughout the whole arm. Just to try to show that, yes, it is only right there that's gotten all messed up. And hopefully it can be inferred that it is somewhat related to the grub due to the grub being literally right there and being held kind of like a teddy bear. And eventually I add in like little back tendrils to the grub, so it's like into the stomach of the other creature. That is probably done after I render some of the grub though, so not for a while. And by not for a while, I mean probably within the next minute or two. At least it will start being added there, probably, if I remember correctly. Hey, give me some slack. I'm recording this way after I drew this by like a couple hours. So if I don't remember exactly when things happened, that's why. It's not because I'm stupid. Probably. Here in the eyes of the grub I added blue just because the creature behind it's blue. So the likelihood of that amount of blue reflecting off an eye that is supposed to be shiny is very high. There's the back tendrils. Right into the stomach. I did not add any blue into the rest of the body of the grub, just the eyes. I probably should have added a faded blue, since I did imagine the Grub Carapace thing being shiny. But hey, that's something to think about for a later grub creature thing that I add into a stomach. Because I'm gonna do it more eventually, probably. I got lots of time to do another one. Hopefully. And there's the adding the fingers being merged. I also added, well, not yet, but eventually there will be 4 knuckles, as if it was a human hand. But then obviously the pointer and middle finger are combined, and the pinky and the index get combined. But that is not until later. I am once again just adding a whole bunch of tiny rendering details that are honestly kind of difficult to make out here, other than like highlights on the grub right now, but like that tiny little details in the back creature's body, sometimes hard to make out. There's the super bright blue that I was talking about to like 4 minutes ago now. I wasn't even close to when I added it. But there's the 4th color to the blue creature. And I don't believe I use a multiply layer this time, or an overlay layer, just because I really liked how the color scheme ended up on this one without it. And I don't want to ruin it by adding a bunch of junk to it. I did, however, add a blur to the tail, just because it is supposed to be going back / moving. And I also added fog around it that kind of, hopefully, accentuated movement, or at least accentuated that it was going back there. Anyway, that's all the time I have to yap today. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Goodbye. Have a good day, good evening, good night. whenever time you're watching this. Bye. Bye bye. Bye.